Got stopped by the police, sitting here on break just now. He's trying to ask me for my ID before he even asked me for paperwork to see what I was doing, saying there's suspicion of nothing. There's no crime being committed or suspected of being committed. And here I am, this guy is basically telling me I have to give him my ID. He's telling me that what if you pull out a gun on me? How am I supposed to know who you are? What's your name and badge number, sir?
Deputy Knight. You can get my badge number from my sergeant if you need to.
This guy's telling me I have to give him my ID and I haven't committed a crime. Absolutely ridiculous. The police continuing to trample on civilians' rights.
The video begins with what appears to be an ordinary break inside a parked vehicle. But within seconds, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. A police officer approaches and immediately requests identification before explaining why he initiated contact. The man behind the camera quickly objects, arguing that no crime has been committed and no reasonable suspicion exists to justify the demand. As the interaction unfolds, frustration becomes visible almost instantly. The civilian insists that constitutional rights are being ignored while the officer attempts to justify his concerns through hypothetical dangers rather than observable facts. What starts as a routine encounter rapidly transforms into a tense debate about police authority, individual freedom, and the legal limits officers must follow during consensual encounters. The camera captures every second, turning the moment into a public confrontation over civil liberties in America.
When there's no reasonable, articulable suspicion that a crime has been committed, didn't even ask me for nothing, just asked me, let me get your ID. Doesn't work like that. This is the United States, state of Florida. Questioning the passenger in my vehicle, forcing him to give his ID because he doesn't know any better.
What force is there? How did I force him to give me his ID?
He doesn't have to give you his ID.
But you just said I forced him. How did I force him?
Bro, you're steady at him. You're making him acquiesce to your authority. Bro, I got big lawyers too, and they're gonna call. And they're gonna send in the complaint.
That's fine.
Bro, I tried to be nice and tell you what my rights are, and you steady want to try. I know you don't care. That's why you're going to go on break for a little while, my friend. If you only knew who I was, you wouldn't be doing this shit. But we're going to stop all this in South Florida. It's enough. Enough is enough. Learn your rights.
As the encounter continues, the disagreement becomes more intense and far more personal. The civilian repeatedly argues that law enforcement cannot simply demand identification without a lawful reason, especially when no crime is being investigated. Meanwhile, the officer begins questioning the passenger inside the vehicle as well, creating even more tension. The man filming claims the passenger only complied because many citizens feel pressured by authority figures, regardless of whether officers are legally justified. The conversation quickly escalates into accusations of intimidation, abuse of power, and constitutional violations. The civilian openly warns the deputy that complaints and legal action may follow, insisting that officers who fail to respect citizens' rights must be held accountable. What makes the moment especially heated is the growing realization that neither side intends to back down. A simple interaction is now becoming a larger argument about policing, accountability, and public understanding of constitutional protections.
Like this, dude. Learn your rights. Look at me like a civilian. I'm in a Durango, whatever. You don't know who I am. I'm telling you. Learn your rights. You put on that badge. You made an oath to that Constitution. You have an obligation and a duty to abide by it.
This is what's going to happen. I'm going to go inside to see if they want to trespass you guys. If they want to trespass you, we're going to trespass you. And at that point, you will have to give me your ID.
Trespass me for what?
For selling the stuff on private property.
What are you talking about?
So you hang tight.
Nobody saw us selling stuff. You pulled up. I was in my vehicle.
We got a complaint out here.
From who?
Well, if I would have...
From who? Who was the complaint from?
Hold on. Give me 1 it. He's
Who
trying to
was
talk
the
to me.
complaint from?
I don't have to give you that information. If you want to, you can do a public records request to get that information. We got a call out here because they said you guys were out here selling stuff.
Did you see me selling anything?
Are you going to let me talk?
No.
Then
No.
I'm not going to.
Did you see me selling anything? Then you have no right to ask these people to trespass. You didn't see me committing a crime or doing anything. What you're doing is illegal. I'm gonna teach you your rights through paperwork. I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna teach you today.
If you keep on screaming, then we're going to have disorderly conduct.
That's fine.
So chill out. All this takes is like 3 minutes, and you guys can be on.
Bro, it doesn't work like that, homie. It doesn't.
The confrontation reaches another level when the officer changes strategy and threatens the possibility of a trespass warning from the nearby business. According to the deputy, if the property owner requests it, the men could legally be trespassed and required to identify themselves. But the civilian immediately challenges the logic behind the threat, demanding evidence that any wrongdoing actually occurred. The officer references a complaint claiming the men were selling items on private property, yet refuses to reveal who made the report. That refusal only deepens the suspicion and frustration already building during the encounter. The man behind the camera argues that unverified accusations are not enough to justify police intervention, especially when the officer himself admits he never witnessed illegal activity. The exchange becomes increasingly emotional as both sides interrupt one another, each convinced they're defending the law while accusing the other of misunderstanding it completely.
But I'm gonna teach you how it works. Now he's going in there trying to get us a trespass on something that he heard. He didn't see us do nothing, something that he heard. And won't even divulge the information to us about his suspicion or what he heard. These are our officers. These are the people we work hard for and give our tax dollars to, who are trampling on our rights. Hopefully this guy, he looks like a young player. He looks like he's just getting into the game. Hopefully you learn something from this interaction. He doesn't understand what's gonna happen to him.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna show you through him.
Yes, sir.
This is not how this goes. Somebody must commit a crime, or you must have a reason to believe that person committed a crime to even ask for an ID. This is an illegal stop.
Now, fully committed to documenting the interaction, the civilian turns the situation into a direct lesson about constitutional rights and police procedure. As the officer walks into the business to investigate the complaint further, the man speaks directly to viewers, claiming this type of encounter represents a dangerous pattern where citizens slowly lose freedoms through intimidation and blind compliance. He argues that officers should thoroughly understand the constitutional oath they swear to uphold before attempting to enforce authority over the public. The tension remains high as he predicts the deputy will eventually realize the stop lacks legal foundation. Throughout the interaction, the civilian repeatedly emphasizes one core argument. Police cannot legally demand identification unless a crime has been committed or there is reasonable suspicion that one has occurred. The camera continues rolling, preserving every detail while the officer searches for evidence that could justify the stop.
It's going against him. Hey, in your 15-20 minutes of free time at home at night, study what you do. Study the law, what you do, the type of interactions you have, study the law, the types of interactions you have.
So,
Do your thing.
you guys probably looking at it. For somebody, right? For somebody. So, okay, apparently I guess the call came from that gas station, not this gas station. So, they
What's your
said...
name and badge number, sir?
Right there, Norris, 2591.
You're...
So, all right, so the call came from the other gas station, not this gas station. So they said that as of right now that you have not peddled or done anything to their customers. They said as long as you guys
Nor
are
did
doing...
you see us committing a crime, and you were asking for my ID illegally.
Are you going to...
Correct?
Are you going to let me talk?
No.
Why?
No.
Do you realize
because
that
what's
when
coming out of your mouth is really trash, man.
Okay, so
Really trash.
it's trash.
I can't believe you would even put that badge on with honor and pride, dude, and still come up and disrespect people's rights by making them give their ID or trying to force them to give their ID. That is absolutely ridiculous, man.
Okay.
You're an officer of the law.
All I'm gonna say is that if you would have given me the 2 minutes to tell you.
Moments later, the entire justification behind the encounter begins to weaken. After speaking with the business employees, the officer returns and admits that the original complaint actually came from a different gas station, not the location where the men were parked. Even more importantly, the business confirms that the men had not been bothering customers or conducting any sales activity on their property. The civilian immediately seizes on the contradiction, accusing the deputy of illegally demanding identification despite lacking evidence of criminal behavior. Instead of calming the situation, however, the conversation becomes even more hostile. The man criticizes the officer's professionalism, arguing that someone wearing a badge should respect constitutional protections rather than challenge them. The deputy attempts to defend himself by saying he was never given the opportunity to fully explain the situation, but by this stage, trust between both sides has completely collapsed.
I have to give you the 2 minutes, and I don't have to tell you shit, man.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
So you can go put that on YouTube.
I know
or
I
whatever
can
you
go.
want
I'm
to
not
do.
going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to send
So,
it to your boss because
go
you're a
for it.
clown.
Go for it.
Okay?
If I really,
Officer Norris is a clown.
If I really wanted to make an issue out of this, I could have. So if you want,
I know
go
you
ahead and
would.
get in the
I know
car.
you would, but
Go get in the
I'll make
car.
a bigger issue with the fucking lawyers. Trust
Okay,
me.
that's fine. That doesn't scare me, man. So you can get in the
Neither
car.
do you, homie. Neither do you.
Not trying
Hey,
to.
Be good, man. Learn the law, dude. And I didn't start out with the disrespect.
leave now.
You did.
By asking your ID.
Motherfucking right.
Okay, you can leave. Get out of
Motherfucking
here.
right.
In the final moments of the encounter, both sides openly express frustration and resentment toward each other. The civilian insists he never had any obligation to explain himself or provide identification, while the officer argues the situation could have been resolved peacefully if he had simply been allowed to speak uninterrupted. What remains clear is that the interaction is no longer about a complaint at a gas station. Instead, it has evolved into a symbolic clash over authority, accountability, and constitutional rights in modern policing. The civilian promises to escalate the matter through complaints and attorneys, while the officer dismisses the threats and tells the group they are free to leave. As the confrontation finally comes to an end, the video leaves viewers with a larger question that extends far beyond this single stop. Where exactly should the line be drawn between public safety and the constitutional freedoms citizens are guaranteed under the law?